Hello and welcome. Can you hear us?
Hello everyone.
Hi. Let us know if you can hear us. Please. We here. Okay, perfect. Welcome to the stream. Glad you made it. Just a few people again today, but that's okay. We'll be mostly talking about the trading post. Try to maybe change values like on stream. See what you think. Tell you what we think is a good idea, and maybe just test out a few things. Other than that, Matt also found a bug that's very neat to look at, so I asked him to show it on stream.
Well, actually, I didn't find it. It was a well-known issue, but
he investigated
Yeah.
an issue and found something that looks pretty funny, actually.
it's related to the enemies slowing down when they're spawning too fast.
Jeremy, if nobody would have said that they hear us, then that would have been a hint. Okay. Do you want to start with like the bug that you found, or like?
Sure.
Okay,
Why
I'll
not?
give you.
How
the
do I
things.
switch the screen? Can I simply just?
Yeah.
Oh,
Should
okay.
be able to see it on stream. Bug first. All right. If Buddy says bug first, we'll do bug first.
Okay, first we'll start a regular
Um,
in-game round.
Maybe just stop the music as we have in-game music
Oh.
on.
Okay. So as you know, once wave streaming is active, enemies start to spawn faster and faster. And as you can see, they have fixed spawn locations. And for some reason, even though the collision gets smaller and smaller the faster the enemies spawn, for some reason the pathfinding completely screws up once too many enemies spawn at one spot. So we just have to wait until it gets a bit faster.
What is that tower? That's my tower that had a test that I tested the tower customization with, and there wasn't much that you could do at that point, so that's why it looks like that.
Okay, enemies start to circle around each other.
And this is already something that's super weird. Like, they get stuck in each other, they circle around. So at this point, you could pause it and show it like you should see the pathfinding, right?
Yep.
You should see that on.
I added some more debugging options today. So, for example, this red line shows the path of the entities on the nav mesh, on the navigation mesh. And for some reason, enemies that spawn try to reach the spawn location even though they're never supposed to get there.
Yeah, you could.
I'll try to get inside this one.
I
There,
mean, yeah, you can see it. Yeah.
we can see it.
That little red line is the path that it takes, and it basically goes to the spawn location.
And that's completely weird because there's not a single point in our code that tells the enemy to walk to the spawning location. There's even a warp that warps the enemies on the navigation mesh exactly to the point where they are now, so that the nav mesh thinks they are where they actually are at the moment.
So what you're saying is there's no reason why they would go to the starting point. Like,
Yep.
it shouldn't happen.
Yeah.
And that's
And
what.
they just start to circle around each other, and that's why sometimes they just stuck. Also, there's another issue that's kind of weird. Sometimes enemies just stuck inside each other and don't even move. They don't even push themselves apart. I think that's not visible in the stream at the moment,
No, it's not.
because I added some more debugging output to the inspector inside Unity, and it shows that the enemies that are stuck inside each other are actually moving for some reason. So the navigation mesh agent says yes, they're moving, so there's no way for me to detect inside the code if they're moving or not without creating a workaround. And that's kind of weird.
Jeremy says, "Oh, I've seen enemies circle each other, not at spawn, but when coming towards my tower. I mean, you mean circle like this, that they go around one, like one block, like one enemy, or that they circle around your tower? Because that can happen due to collision and things like that.
Yeah, because there's another weird issue. You can completely turn off the obstacle avoidance of entities, and they still try to circle around each other.
Okay, by the way, I also said, I've seen this before. If you open the upgrade menu, the screen shifts to the side a bit, and on some maps you can see the spawn point.
Yep, and there's another damage text, so
Wait.
some missiles don't destroy themselves after enemies are reused from the pool. That's another issue, but that's actually a minor issue because it doesn't really affect the gameplay.
Like halfway, they just play Ring Around the Rosie or something.
Yeah.
Legit playing the tango. So this is also what caused the issue when the enemies were like spread around the field, right? Like when they actually were in the forest and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's something that's also visible in this screen pretty good. Because when a game starts lagging, for some reason enemies are pushed apart very strong. I think the AI logic, the built-in AI logic, is not handled like the physics logic. So I think they use different update times or something like that.
And that's why they get pushed.
Yeah.
I saw them being pushed on my wave 1 billion. Says Buddy.
Yeah. But is there a way to actually make the game lag?
Yeah, sure. Hold on.
Yeah, there you can see it pretty good. Yeah, that's a very weird behavior. Yeah, in the worst case scenario, we just switch to a custom built navigation mesh. Yeah, but it's going to be fixed. Hopefully pretty soon. Make the tower reach the spawn point.
I don't understand that. You can make the tower reach the spawn point so it clears it? Oh, you mean from attack range perspective or what? So what, do they just bounce off each other in higher speed? The bouncing is super weird.
Yeah, that's actually also weird because they don't have a rigid body on them. So actually they're not supposed to bounce once they collide. Usually things with inside Unity, things with colliders usually are just pushed apart. Or I don't know. If they only have a collider, they're just trigger an event once they collide.
Yes.
Yeah, but yeah, so I don't know. Maybe the navigation mesh agent has some kind of physics logic in it.
That's actually a good point.
Well, Jeremy, that doesn't fix the issue.
Sniper shot module, yeah. So at least you can kill them. But eventually they will run towards you. They're not stuck forever, right?
Yeah.
So at some point you'll just get a lot of enemies at once.
Yeah, they just circle around for about, I don't know, 20 rounds or something like that, and then they start moving to the center. So if you just follow this one.
So weird.
Yeah.
But also somehow interesting because it's like a little tornado and every time one gets pushed out.
Yeah. And there it goes.
Buddy also asked, when is our range module going to be added?
Don't know, I think I already added the code for it. But yeah.
Tornado of Souls.
It's going to be pretty hard to balance because some maps are quite small.
We enemies have to go through all the regions again. and like balance them and make some adjustments. For example, heaven is going to be completely renewed. Like nothing will stay from the current area. Everything will be exchanged, built from the ground, whatever. Like everything has to go and be redone. And there's still like some enemies missing, right? We still disabled wizards are disabled.
I don't know. Wizards are spawning. The only thing
Assassins.
visible is assassins. Yeah.
Okay.
Another navigation mesh related issue.
Maybe we can fix that like at the same time now.
Yeah.
Shay has arrived. Well, basically, this is a bug that we were showing off. That just looks a bit funny.
Yeah, from a different point of view. It's a known issue, but yeah.
That's what it looks. That's what you're experiencing. Even though you can't see it. And why is the text too big? Do you mean the UI that you see in the background? Because this is
one?
just...
Well, that's because it's a screen space overlay. It's when you're playing the game, it's actually rendered at the end of the rendering process, of the rendering pipeline. First it draws the whole... I think we can actually show that.
Is it?
Where is that? Animation... That frame debugger.
You could have just right-clicked it, but
Yeah.
okay.
Can I move that over there or something like that?
You can try.
Okay. Let's watch that screen. Oh, there it is.
Okay.
So
So this is the debug screen now. Like he can go through.
the whole rendering process.
You can see it on stream, but he can go through every bit of rendering and look at what it looks like at that point.
So first of all, the whole game is drawn, then the transparent stuff, and at the end of that, the whole UI is being drawn on top of it. And since it's a screen, an overlay screen, it uses absolute coordinates. And if you put these coordinates into the 3D 3D space, it actually looks like this because I'm gonna scroll in there. I think an enemy is about 0.8 wide and 1.2 high. Well, it's an archer. I think a regular enemy. They're only archers. I need a regular enemy.
Is it only archers getting stuck? That's a new question. No, there's an.
No, there was one. So one enemy is 1 times 1 times 1 big. And the UI is actually as wide as the current screen size, which is 1024 pixels at the moment. That's why it looks this big.
And Shay, you're always welcome here. Don't let anyone bully you. Doesn't really matter if we disable the UI. We were just showing off that bug. And getting bullied, just people are being annoying as fuck. Well, you are still welcome here. And if we can cheer you up, then that's don't even know how to say it in English.
Actually, regarding disabling, I'm not sure if we can show that, but Unity uses occlusion culling, so what's not visible on screen is actually not being rendered. Just checking if there's a way to show that somehow. But it's turned off at the moment. Yeah, but
I don't think you can show that.
I have to look that up.
I have higher tier models than the devs. Yeah, man. On tick in the hierarchy in Unity. Do you mean from the frame debugger that we had open? And yes, buddy, you probably have higher tier modules. You also play way more of the game than we do. We're mostly implementing and coding stuff and testing things.
Sure, you can
Yeah,
untick
yeah,
that,
sure.
but what for?
You can just disable the entire UI.
The sidebar. Not a sidebar is gone.
You could also just disable the entire UI if you want. Just to show that it works like that. Okay. Shall we move on to the trading posts? What does chat say?
Which bug? That's not a bug, that's just how the text looks like when it's rendered in world space. That's just how Unity shows it. You mean, oh. I know what you mean.
Doesn't change anything though.
Yeah, I think he wants to disable it because then you can show better off how the whole map looks like.
True, and you can zoom out and then you can see everything.
Yep.
How tall is soul harvesting?
Quite tall.
Can we just check for a moment the image that he sent? I want to see the image. Screen capture. What is it? Doesn't open. Your wonderful trading post with all the good deals. Yes, that's exactly.
I think we can switch to the trading post now because
Okay.
yeah, there isn't much more to this issue. I'm currently working on it. Yeah,
Oh, you disabled the UI. Now I have to enable it again.
you can just press escape.
Yeah, I did. And then, you know, the text box comes up asking you if you want to quit. Where's the UI? I've got to find it. Here. Okay. So the trading post. You already changed something that it's not in the actual current build, right?
Yep.
Maybe you can explain what it is.
Well, just a few value adjustments. Basically, how the trading post works is it generates a random offer based on the conversion ratio of white to the specific resource. And then it chooses two random values that affect the input amount and the output amount. And previously they ranged from, I think, minus 50% and plus 50%, plus minus 50% for the input or something like that, and plus minus 50% for the output, which could create an incredibly unbalanced trade.
Yes.
For example, if you have around minus 50% for the input and plus 50% for the output, you could gain a total ratio of, I think it was 25, 12 times 8, something like about, I don't know, times 50, times 60. You could gain around 60 times the regular amount you would gain from converting whites to the specific resource. And yeah, in the last public build, I changed these values. So the chance to receive a good trade without any upgrades is a lot rarer, actually. And actually I have to look it up what I changed in
That's also why for Martin it looked like everything's buggy. Or like
Can I switch the screen?
You just go over here and that's it.
Oh.
What? Or you want to show it on stream?
No, not yet.
Okay.
Just checking what I changed now.
Yes, but I get that every change. You mean that everything's like a bad trade for you? I assume.
That only means you lose at least 5% of the resources you would have gained if you converted them by converting them via white resources. So just for explanation, red arrow means 5%, at least 5% resource loss. Yellow means between 5 percent loss and 5% gain, and green means more than 5% gain.
It's basically, before you really get good trades, you have to upgrade it. Otherwise, it's not really worth it.
Yeah. That's a constant multiplier that changes the input and output of each offer. So, what do we have here? I think we just start again.
Okay.
Oh, not the shipyard.
Also do that every time. Just because they look so, like the colors look close.
Yeah, we should have added a debug button or something to refresh trades.
Yeah, that would have been good. We can't wait like an hour every time.
Yep. Just have to check something.
You can add the value to like 1 minute maybe? Instead of an hour.
Yeah, let's change it.
Yeah, I think that's good enough. Because we can wait a minute.
I'm not sure if it's applied instantly.
The output ratio does nothing until deals refresh. Yeah, that's...
Yep. It's supposed to work like this. It does not affect existing trades, it's just for future trades. I think we have to cap that, because currently it loads the value.
So Jerry means he's not against the trading post, like is realistic and has bad deals, but he would expect a few more good deals or the yellow deals instead of all bad deals at the beginning, I guess.
Yep. Just checking. Offer countdown. So I'm just changing that it takes. It caps the offer countdown when loading it. So. Okay, now it worked. Okay, now we have to wait around 40 seconds.
And then we get new deals for the ratio. So do you remember what exactly you changed now? What's different to the version that we published like a day or two ago?
I reduced the prices for the input and output ratio a bit.
Okay.
I think by, I don't know, decreased the exponential factor by around 1 point something.
So that they are more affordable, especially at the beginning, I guess.
Yeah, at least a bit.
Okay, what did Jeremy say? Also maybe an exotic ability or whatever to speed up deals.
Yep. There's also the logic built in already that allows you to lock trades, for example. Because it's planned to make some deals reusable or something like that. For example, so you can keep a good trade for longer than just...
Didn't we used to have a skill like that for the trading post? Or was it just a test?
That was a test, we didn't have them. Okay, now we have 1 yellow, 1 green. A lot of red deals.
Each deal should have a base of plus minus 10%. One trade was to be... Do we want trading post to be a good way to trade colored resources? To colored resources, or do we want to be an actual dimension try and stock market? So what we said at the beginning is that we didn't want to make it too realistic, because one idea was to actually have, like, if you like supply and demand, and if you trade a lot one colored resource into another one, that it would be like the new deals would be much worse, because you just took so much out of the supply but we decided against it at the beginning because we didn't want to make it too realistic. We wanted to find a balance where it's always like good and also it scales with how far you are in the game, because this is an incremental game, so numbers just change in like by big factors, so it should always be valuable.
Also, we have to make sure to not make the trading post too complex, because we already have a lot of complex buildings and
yeah, we actually
buildings.
Trying to reduce a few things. Like you already seen, you could go to the museum for a second, and we removed like quests and some other things, and change the UI bit. Like we took some of the functionality out of it because we already have it in other buildings or other parts of the game. So we wanted to make some of the buildings less like have less features.
Yeah, but Jeremy, how are we supposed to balance this if the resources have a different type? Or do you mean the equal amount in white resources?
And we're not gonna make it pay to win. It's solely against what we want and what we believe. Is maybe is it dumb? I think Jeremy's question was if you want the post to be used for switching resources to get rich with it. Not how realistic it should be. Oh yeah, that's what I actually wanted to get at. It should be more to use some of the resources that you gathered in like one building and exchange them for something else. But that probably should have a little bit of a loss to it, because you already have them, and you're changing them to something else. And for white resources, to some color changes, it should probably be better, because otherwise, why would you do it? Like if it would be worse than converting them normally, why would you do it?
Yep. Also to give each resource more use. For example, some buildings don't have infinite things at the moment, but you can still use the resources for something, so they don't go to waste. Okay.
Also, we have to be careful, because the more OP or better we make the trading post, the more it's gonna taint the shipyard later on, because the shipyard is getting a bit more features that are not in yet, and it's actually gonna be a valuable way to gain resources. So the trading post shouldn't be too good in that sense, because otherwise there's no point to using the shipyard or any other building for that matter. Keep the trains around yellow and make it so red and green are rare. Somebody wants the input ratio to output ratio max sooner.
Or we could set down the limit from 300 to 200%. That's something we can do.
I guess. But I like the idea that Jeremy put in the room, that it should mostly be yellow traits, and the green, red, so the good and the bad trait should be more rare. So the extremely good and extremely bad.
Well, it's quite hard to balance them if, for example, the output ratio or input ratio is at 120 or 130%.
They would have to find a different algorithm for that, like to calculate it.
Yep.
That also makes it more complicated and maybe less understandable for the player to see what changing the input and output ratio actually does if we change that algorithm too much. Do you want to change some of the values now, or what are you looking for?
Thinking about something.
If you want, we can also show that on stream.
Yeah.
Should I? Just quickly wait. So if you make it like that, if you press this button, it should show like the code.
Okay.
And then you can unhide it, or like hide it again.
Well, it's not directly supposed to be just for switching. It's actually supposed to produce a few resources. But more in the late game than the early game.
Good luck stealing it, Jeremy.
I think we could just change it to plus minus.
So for now, just
10%.
change the factor, you mean?
Yep. That's just going to create only green deals now. Oh, I have to
Yeah, now you can see it again.
see the game again.
That's
9
also
for
weird.
1. That's an incredible deal.
Hmm.
150 to 1. 9 for. Oops, wrong billing.
9 for 1. What was it in the factory?
150 to 1.
100.
It's an incredible deal. Just checking if there's actually a typo somewhere.
It's over 15 times. You could also shoot it on stream again.
Okay, I'm just reading at the moment. Because the code for trading post is pretty old, because it was, I think, the second or third building that was implemented. Just tests the building interaction and something like
Yeah,
that.
just because it was supposed to be more simple.
Yep. Back in the days when buildings were simple.
I mean, but in generally, maybe it would be a good idea to make the training post okay, and like with a few more skills, make it good again, so that you actually have to upgrade it first.
Yeah.
But you should always get something out of it. Shouldn't be bad. You know what I mean?
Yep. I think I have the issue now.
Wait, you can
10%
just
gain.
enable it.
It depends on how good trades are going to be. Because if they only gain about I don't know, 5 to 10% resources, then that's not much.
You gotta also take into consideration that at some point the AI will be doing trades for you. So it's also good if you have a lot of small trades that are good, because the AI will be able to do it for you and do a lot more trades. So even if a trade per se is not as good, if you do them more often, in general they might become better, instead of just waiting for great, like the best deals.
Well, but the limit of progression just means then the limit of the tower progression actually. Because if you were able to progress by using the trading post, then you actually progress while using the trading post, so the limit gets higher and higher.
That is true. I mean, it could be kind of based to how far you are in the actual tower defense game, right?
Yeah.
It maybe even has to, because you shouldn't be able to just make progress out of like in town. Even though you get resources and you will be able to upgrade things, but you should still need the main game in order to unlock new things. So maybe add more steps to it as well.
Yep.
I think a daily transaction limit equal to the total resources gathered from runs would be the best. Yeah, that's the another problem with the AI. If it's always good, then you get exponential growth, of course. Especially if there's like two deals that complement each other, and you can just do it over and over again. Often you have to clear my cache to unlock the achievements tab in the sim. You actually need to have an achievement, otherwise it just shows like question marks. And there's only one hidden achievement at the moment. Maybe you can find out what it is. Actually, does anyone in chat have the achievement yet? Because it would be interesting. Interesting to see who got it. Buddy, you won't get any hints from me. Okay, there's one hint. It has nothing to do with the actual tower defense game.
So you have a piece of paper somewhere?
Yeah, sure. I'll get something.
Just need to write something down. I'm just checking the algorithm that generates the trading posts. And I just have to check something. It's weird looking at that code because it's almost a year old. Four empty achievements. What? Jeremy said he had 4 empty achievements.
Have 4 empty achievements? That's not possible.
So we have CR times 10. It's the in rate.
You could also use the whiteboard in the background to do your maths.
Yeah. I just need to check something.
Wait, I'm actually getting something else.
Oh, thanks. Why did I add another random factor? That's so weird. Okay. So we have the in rate.
No. The perfect space is not one of the achievements. And actually, I'll be working on perfect space soon. And I thought I'll do all of it on stream, so the actual gameplay and stuff. making it into a real game, not just a prototype.
So basically that's a random value between 100 and 1. No, it could actually be 0.
What are you calculating?
I'm not sure why I wrote it that way back then.
Don't ask me.
Okay, we have...
No Boss 2 is also still in the making. It's not done. But that's a parallel task.
Because that can become 0 and that's weird. Actually, let's replace that part. I think that was because has changed something in the past. Let's make that... It's quite a full... Can I move that
Sure.
over here?
Right.
Okay. I think that's what I tried to do back then.
In range from 1 to 100.
Okay, it's random between 1 and 100. And the factor out was a random value between the current upgrade. Let's say it starts at 1. So it ranges from 0.9 to
Buddy, I know you're
0.7.
waiting for the bosses.
Same with the input ratio.
Just this winter, bosses are coming. Soon. They're on their way.
Let's say you want to convert from the factory to... Let's check, just quickly check again. The mine has 120, the factory has 150, I think so. Okay,
Yeah,
just
150.
checking. 150 and 120, so times 10.
Well, I should have added the TM at the end. Soon TM.
Out rate to in rate from factory to mine. That means the minus 1000. So that gets us
We need an overhead camera to show what Matt is drawing here on the paper.
0.8. So that means the ratio is smaller than 0. It uses the one below. So we have a random value between 1 and 2. You changed the music?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
So we don't always hear the town music.
Okay. So random between 100 times factor in, which is in this case random.
And Jeremy says
Between-
one of the achievements better be how many times you gave bunnies. I can't read the rest. Something he wrote. Can see it.
Okay, random between 0.9 and 1.1. Okay. And the output is the same random value between 1 and 100 divided by the ratio.
Well, while Matt is doing the math, do you have any suggestions for like skills that you want to see in the trading post? Because that would be the perfect time to talk about this.
0.9 and so we have
Well, I thought about adding an achievement for killing Cylinder 1000 times, but then I thought, if achievement hunters play the game, do they really want to do that? Kill 1000 times? Who does that? Just a buddy. Nobody else. So if you have any suggestions for skills for the trading post, be it normal or exotic, this is the time to say so. See, 500 times sounds more reasonable actually. If you think that there will be different tiers to the boss, so different difficulties, that actually sounds like something that could be even enjoyable. If you don't do all of it at once, because that will just be tedious every time.
So.
Shit, let me drag the window over here so I can read the chat better. Okay, now I'm out of the picture, but I can read chat. So a skill that allows you to make a specific trait appear more likely, I guess is what Jeremy suggests here. 2 resource types into 1 resource types. Split resources where you trade 2 resource types into 1 resource type. I feel like that makes it too complicated and adds a different layer of complexity to it that we don't need. Because right now if you have 1-to-1 trades, at least you can see right away if you like it or not. But if you have 2 resources, it gets more complex again. Yes, you get a notification when you unlock an achievement. Actually, it's pretty cool. Do you know the Xbox achievements that pop up from the top and then fold to the sides? That's basically what it looks like. Why do you think that's more like a convenient feature than a skill? Would it really be human trafficking? I mean, the citizens are not human. They're actually robots, so... PC Master is only. As long as you know what I mean, then you get the picture. And eventually you see it. Cube trafficking. I mean... the resources are still like the dead bodies from your enemies, right? That law didn't change. Soylent Green? I don't get that one. I don't know what you mean. Actually, while we're at it, you can also add some ideas for achievements if you want to. Because if I have some ideas from you guys, I'll just implement them if they're good. So you can get a bit of content in it. Achievements will also get something like a bonus. I was thinking of maybe adding a skill to the museum that gives you some kind of bonus based on how many achievements you have unlocked. Soylent Green is made of people. Now I have to Google that.
There's also an Easter egg in Warcraft. In Warcraft 3, when you click trolls, a lot of times they say Soylent Green is made of troll meat.
Okay. Why do I not know that one?
Value times factor out, so 1 times factor out was 0.9.
Yeah, I haven't seen the movie and I don't know that. But I guess it's something that I should look at. It made 3.6 million, no, billion box office. Achievement where you found every citizen that has a Patreon name. Could do that. It's hard to implement and track, but I could do it that if you. Yeah, maybe something that could be something like a secret achievement. Gotta think about it more. An achievement to click on a citizen that has a deaf name. If you make the deaf citizens have a special logic behind them when they appear, then that would be a good achievement. Otherwise it would just be luck based. I think it should be something that you can actually, if you know about it, that you can focus on and achieve it. Than just randomly clicking citizens, then maybe reloading and hoping that you get new citizens or something. And then deaf citizens of course should look different. Rare about a bunch of citizens circle around deaf citizens. They stop at every building and like take selfies and give autographs. Why should it be one citizen in every town that has the name of your profile? That doesn't make sense. Cause you're the overseer, you're there, it's your island, why should it be a cube with your name? That doesn't really make sense. Especially with a feature that will be in later on, that doesn't make sense. Give away what the citizen actually jump. Yeah, but you'll have another way to walk around your town and actually look at it from a first person view, so that's why I mean, I don't see it work. Yeah, maybe you need to build a specific hidden building for the devs to appear. Or like it's just a separate island, the dev island. That would be fun though. But way too much effort right now. Actually, I don't believe so, but does anybody of you play the new Warcraft 3, the Reforged? Did anyone play it? Because it released like not long ago, right? And the reviews are kinda like bad. So would have been interesting if any one of you played it. Yeah, Warcraft 3 refunded. That's what I mean. It has had very bad critique about it for certain things.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Even though they said that they made the old maps compatible?
Did you not hear any of this?
No.
Like, there has even been a shitstorm because of the new policy that they implemented. So every mod and every map that you make in Warcraft 3 is now owned by Blizzard, and you're not allowed to make a standalone game out of it. So your idea belongs to Blizzard once you... Like,
seriously?
Yeah. So example, if you would make a new Dota or something like that, you're not allowed to make a standalone game out of it. The idea belongs to Blizzard.
Weird. Canada Trading Post is too good.
Fancy graphics, but too many bugs, and they skipped lore. Also, they didn't, like they said, that they would make new cutscenes and improve them, which they also showed at, I think it was a Gamescom or something, or E3. They even showed new cutscenes, and they weren't in the actual game now.
the workshop. What's the conversion rate?
No, buddy, I told you before, it's nothing with the hidden achievement that is in right now, has nothing to do with the tower game. Do you want to show
38.
that on stream somewhere?
I'm just checking a few buildings.
Okay.
38. So
It's actually like the hidden achievement, another hint. It's something secret that you could do in Perfect Tower 1, but there wasn't a real achievement for it. Maybe that's like a big hint. Because one achievement is for exotic producers.
okay, so there's a smaller game now.
Maybe, buddy, you should start. Play, since you already beat like everything that's in Perfect Tower 2, you can just play Perfect Tower 1 on the side. And I know somebody in chat actually made a good guide for that. I don't know how to find that in this game, at least. Maybe you have an idea what I meant?
Okay, now we have to wait to get new traits.
So those were the traits that you did before that were always too good, right?
Yeah, but not too good. For example, one trait you only gained about 200,000 resources, which is less than 10% of this one.
Actually, my guy is just the game mechanics, and the other is actually guide on playing itself.
That looks a lot better. Okay, let's take this one.
Your guide is actually more like what a wiki would be for Perfect Tower 1, I guess. Explaining everything.
I think I'm going to change the quality rating. What trait quality is determined? Okay. I think I know now what the problem is. Yeah, let's make that public. Let's call this.
Yeah.
What's that?
You press the combination for the NVIDIA overlay.
Okay.
Achievement where you play that Minecraft FPS game that you made. You mean Tactics. But how do we know that you actually played it? Can't just add it to this, because it was made in our own engine and everything.
The keyboard somehow feels weird.
I know. You also have a mechanical keyboard at home, right?
I don't think it's mechanical.
I thought it was mechanical.
It sounds mechanical. Okay, and now let's make this.
So it's mechanical for poor people. It sounds mechanical, but it's not. We could actually make the perfect item a minigame in Perfect Tower 2. And then we can make an achievement based of that. You gotta start it again.
Yeah, I have to wait until it compiles. No.
Unity. So slow.
Now the arrows are a lot better.
Yeah, no, they seem more mixed.
Yeah, because now they show the actual quality.
What do you mean?
Before they just compared the random factors between them. If the random factors were in favor of the trade, then it was green.
So it didn't actually check the entire trade.
It didn't check the values exactly,
Okay.
it just checked the random factors.
Okay.
So there was actually a chance that a trade could be technically good, but because of rounding reasons or something like that. For example, I just calculated an example with the mine at the factory. In the worst case scenario, it would be 1-to-1
Mhm.
if all factors were minimized. And in the best case scenario, the factor would be 1-to-1 if the random value for the amount would be 1.
Okay.
Because it always rounded them down.
You can actually show that to the camera for a moment. Like, while we've been chatting, Matt has been doing this. I don't know, you can probably not really read.
It's just going through a
But-
few example trades.
He's been doing the math. But did you actually change the actual quality of the trades, like how they, how good they are?
In the best case scenario, it's now 10% better than it should be. And in the worst case scenario, it's 30% worse than it should be. And the errors should be now correct because they compare the values and not the trade's quality. So,
Big brain Matt.
for example, if you take this one, 49 factory, and 64 mine. Here we have 150 and 120. 50, 120. That means 49 times 150 is 7,350 resources. And 64 times 120
We
is
actually got the same trade again.
7,680. Same?
The same.
Exactly the same.
Yeah, this one is the same.
Whoa. Okay, that's pretty lucky. So-
Lucky? Or is there a bug?
It could also be a bug. Who knows?
I guess we'll see.
Oh, it's barely yellow. You lose
Uh,
4 point. Well, let's make that. Let's inverted value. 1 minus that. You lose 4.29685% of your resources. Of white resources if you would have converted them to white.
That's actually not too bad. That's actually good. I wouldn't count that as a bad deal.
Yeah, it's a yellow deal. It's not that bad. But if you take this one, for example, 103 and 251.
Yes.
I think 38 was the conversion rate for the workshop.
Wait a
and
second. We got a new deals. Okay, it's not the same. So there's no bug that one stays.
Was 103 was the mine, or what was the mine? Was it the mine, or?
The workshop is 38.
Yeah, but was the other thing the mine, or?
The mine is 120.
Yeah, but was
Yeah,
it?
it was my it was
okay,
my
okay.
workshop. It was my workshop.
120 times 103. 12,360. And 38 times.
Body's idea was exactly 1-to-1 of white equivalent.
So 9538 to 360.
Ah.
Yeah.
So
You lose 23%.
for a deal that we don't see anymore, sadly. But that was here before.
Yeah.
Also, Jeremy just suggested to add an exotic skill.
Oh, actually, the yellow one from before is actually a good one. I just swapped the values. So
It was like 4% good, right?
you gain
Yeah.
4.4 white points.
Jeremy said to add an exotic skill that you can use exotic gems to refresh traits.
It could be possible. Skill, yeah.
There's still the question if you should add a limit to daily trading, like that you can only trade a certain amount, so you can't abuse the system by converting into something and then converting that one back to what you originally had.
Maybe. Well, we could actually also add another exotic skill that adds gems or exotic gems to the trades.
Well,
Somehow.
That for sure, but gem of aura deals. That you can convert them, yeah, that's also a possibility, I guess. So not just refresh them, but make them better deals.
or a luck-based skill. For example, 1% chance to receive a trade that involves exotic gems somehow. Because there's no real conversion, because you can't say how many whites is a exotic gem. So that would be just a win-win.
That's true.
And technically, it could just take a random resource from the player and use that as to balance the trade.
Why do you like dislike the idea of limiting trades per day?
Well, I don't like that idea either.
I just feel like you could abuse it too much. If you just make a simple script that, for example, if we have, let's take this, if we have the boss cubes to white cubes and we have white cubes to black cubes and both are super deals, then you could just abuse it by just first doing the first trade, converting everything, then doing the second trade, converting everything, and then going back to the first trade, converting everything.
Whoa. 3 times?
And that way you could just grow your resources indefinitely.
Yep.
That's the problem that I see.
Well, it all comes down how much you gain per trade. For example, if you only can gain at most 1% resource, 1% more resources, then it's going to take a while.
It's still worth it if you can do it like a billion times per minute. If you have a script that does it.
Wait a second, how can you do it a billion times?
Okay, that was over the top, but in general, like if you can do it.
Yeah, but if the timer is,
fast.
for example, on 10 minutes again, and you can do it 6 times per hour if you get the deals you need.
That's true, it would just probably take a very long time. And that way it's already like limited, I guess.
I think we're just going to push this version first and test it a bit, and then we'll see if we still have to change something.
So what does chat think? Do you think this is more balanced? You also changed the input-output ratio, right? Did you change the max values for upgrading? Or is it still 300%?
Oh, no, I didn't change it. It's still 15,300. We can change it to 15,200 and lower the price, for example.
I don't know. What does chat say? Should we change it to 200%? Because before...
Just have to check something again.
Yep.
Okay.
Still like my idea of a cap base on game progression, since if you do Basilian traits you still have to run a long deep round. Meaning you're limited by time, but the time is linked to gameplay. But it says 150 or 200 is best percent. Jeremy, remind me, in what way did you say it was limited to game progression? Did you was it you that said that it's based on your idle progress, how much you can make? Or was that Martin before? Somebody said something like that. Not idle, but how many resources you made in a single run. So the way long endless runs would do good. So you mean based on the highest resource gain? Or would you say, I think Buddy said he wants it to be based on total resources collected, right? I said nothing, but I don't have the time to leave the game running for long times.
I think we're going to change something.
So yeah, Buddy says total resources, and Jeremy says resources in a run. We were talking about how to limit it
Okay.
to game progression.
Well, actually, if I choose total resources, it makes no sense because at the moment you trade, you increase your total resources if you gain something.
That is true.
Or do you mean total white resources or something like that?
Yeah, that would still change based on the traits, like if you convert to white.
Output ratio. Let's make that half.
So you can see it, but Matt is changing a few values again.
Let's leave it at that. So 1.
And he changed it to 200% max.
Still compiling.
Yeah,
No.
takes forever.
That's in 0.5% steps. Because now the best trade you could get with ideal conditions would be times 4.8. It's just still a lot.
Sorry, the best trade you can get is 4.8?
If the trading post is completely maximized
Yeah.
and you get the ideal random numbers, then you would multiply your resources times 5.
Which is a lot, indeed. Especially if you already have a lot of resources. Jeremy says that we should try his method for like a week and see how it goes. Limiting it to your best run.
Yeah, but how's that supposed to work with non-white resources?
I guess it gives you a factor. Like you would factor it based on the white resources.
You mean if you would
But
have
then-
converted them to white resources?
Yeah, Buddy says based on equivalent.
And how are you going to explain that tutorial-wise?
Well, the question is if we do want to have a limit now. Since right now you can't, like it takes a long time if you want to be cheesy and just use a trading post. Why do we not, do we want to make it not a viable solution to go and focus on a trading post and just do trades? I mean, if a player really wants to do that, why should we limit the ability of the player, you know, in that way?
Yep.
As long as it's not totally broken and everybody needs to do it because that's the way you get to the end game where you can win, then it would be bad. But maybe we shouldn't limit it by design, or like not limit it by setting or certain goals.
Well, the other way would be to make it easier to understand why the UI could be to add another upgrade to the trading post that just shows max resources, which,
Give you
just-
additional information in general.
which has to be upgraded to increase the amount.
I feel like all bad should be marked as red. For example, with black it's supposed to divide the max value by... Okay. But, Jeremy, the question is, do we want people to have to play the game in order to like progress in a trading post? Because eventually they'll have to play the main game to advance in general. Also the trading post I think is unlocked. Construction firm tier 2, right? Was it tier 3?
I have to check. Tier 3.
Is it tier 3? 1, 2, 3.
1, 2. Okay, this is 3.
Okay. So it is something like endgame stuff.
Not really endgame, but
Yeah,
mid-game.
like endgame in terms of the construction firm.
Yep.
I think that's okay. Suppose you can always.
Also, it takes a lot longer. If you would progress via the trading post.
I mean, you could press without trading post, so it's not necessary to have its post. Yeah, it should just give you an other way of, like, an additional thing to do.
Just like the factory.
Yeah.
For example, if you would progress the game with the factory.
In the factory, you could make 1 million producers, in theory, and then you don't have to play the game. You just come by every day and do something with your resources.
I think that should be an achievement.
Go AFK for a week and collect 1 billion resources.
Not just to win the game, but just using the factory.
Yeah, but you don't have it from the beginning, so you can't. Exotic producers needs to be buffed.
I think we should make the recipe more expensive.
Maybe. I think 5 times as expensive. 68 exotics a day is bad. But right now you can do everything with it. I think the exotic values will balance when we have more exotic stuff in game.
Yep.
Because most buildings don't even have exotic skills. There's no real ways you can use them right now.
Yeah, we should add a dense machine block that requires all tier 10 machines. And the exotic producer is going to use where's the recipe? I just have to check something. Where is it? We're just creating another dense machine block that requires all the machines, and we're just going to replace the inside of the exotic producer with all the machines. I think we should just add a dense quantum chip. That's just a whole grid full of quantum chips.
Make it so you need lead condensed blocks for an exotic producer fragment.
Actually, we can do that on stream.
What?
Add random recipes.
But what
This one?
recipes do you wanna add?
Just super mega.
Just for a loss
Recipe.
or why?
Yeah. So we have the factory here. So
Spoiler alert.
there's the exotic gem producer. Let's just add another recipe. Let's make it incredibly cheap.
Incredibly cheap.
Okay.
So
Make
need this
it-
here. Add an achievement to make it. I think exotic producer should be an achievement, yes. Thank you, Martin. I still have it in mind. Make deal time 1 second, so you can't make trades at all.
We can check that now. Oh, it's compiling again.
Unity takes its time.
So there is a second exotic producer recipe. Snake.
Or its face. It's too easy to achieve though. Way too easy. I bet if you would push that one, then like at least 5 people would have an exotic producer right now.
I don't add them as my profile icon. Well, I think we mentioned in the previous stream that the Steam version is going to have modding support. So if anyone is going to add a recipe with custom icons, should be easy to do. Can make it even cheaper. So I just improved the recipe. And it shouldn't be the producer, it's a drainer. If you place it in a grid, it drains resources. That's a lot better.
Why don't you shift click it?
Because I want to click 16 times.
Just make a gem producer and slap a pink paintbrush to turn them into bootleg exotics. Okay. But before I forget it, we should really change the values of the trading post for the deal times.
Yep, I think I already changed them.
No, you didn't. We were watching.
Are you sure?
But also, did you change that when you log back in, that it doesn't automatically change the trade? Because you added something like that before, didn't you?
What do you mean?
Or was it something
I just kept trade time to the max
okay.
set trade time. So if you load a game with a longer trading time than the set one, it just cuts it off.
You need to add a recipe for exotic producers that just takes a single exotic producer.
Inception.
We should make a gem producer that gives you a gem producer for one exotic producer.
Equivalent exchange recipes. 8 gem producers for one exotic gem producer.
There needs to be a police in the game, so when you do shady stuff, you can get fined. There might be something bad that can happen to you. It's something we talked about, but it's probably not gonna end up in the game. But still, there might be something like that.
There is going to be quite a strong exotic skill for the factory that adds anything that you craft to the shop, but for a very high price and a low availability.
Martin says he doesn't like how you do the chips right now.
Which chips? Basic, advanced, high-tech or nano?
Maybe he means that it has too many steps that you need
This
to
one?
do. I think in general. I'm not sure. Maybe he'll tell us in chat. And meanwhile, Buddy, or Jeremy, did you find the hidden achievement? If you hurt the environment in the game, then Helena will come and say mean things to you. Did you know? It's a thing now. It would be like a screamer effect. All of a sudden, like it's Helena just popping into the screen.
Jump scare.
Yeah, just a big jump scare. Finished a batch of 8 million T1, then crushed them into dust. Now build 6k chips. Without clicker, huh?
What do you mean?
But you can do all at once.
Yep, you can just press shift.
Yeah.
Let's just go to create a white producer recipe.
So with the you unlock the skill that you can put everything in the grid, like via this thing.
And then if you press shift, click, you get all of them at once.
So you don't need to click 6,000 times.
I think we should add that to help screen.
Yeah.
Here is the control screen is still missing.
We actually need to, I think, change the help menu completely. I think what would be good. Then, if you have more, then just take some out. I think you can have it, right? With right click.
With right click.
You can have things. For example, you could go back, make white producers, just buy a few more things so you can make some.
Let's wait 2 hours to get more.
No, just buy some stuff.
Okay. It's not that much available.
No.
We need...
Yeah.
Oh. Skill's not in there.
Actually, with all the new items, the question is, did you plan anything to make bigger inventory?
And we could still add an exotic skill that increases inventory size, for example, for, I don't know, 5 exotic gems. But that's 4 new rows or something like that. Or doubles the inventory space.
True, if it's exotic, it must be something good. Okay, is there anything we need to change back, or is everything...
I think everything's still the way it is. I think everything is as it's supposed to be. Yeah, I mean, we have to test them.
I wanted to say that we should make a new build after the stream and upload it, but then we have a little issue with the arcade right now.
The producer recipe, the Raba one? Yeah, the Raba one is gone. It's only one exotic producer recipe now.
But he was hyped.
Yeah.
He was waiting for it.
What did you say? What
the arcade. The arcade is broken in this build.
Oh.
Because it's already started the rework.
Okay.
Wait, can't.
Yep.
Okay, I need the keyboard back. Okay. Otherwise this won't work.
Let's see if anyone noticed.
What?
I don't know. I think long-term players are not going to notice it, but maybe some new players.
The main problem is
the navigation is gone.
Yeah, I deleted the old navigation. But we could... Oh.
Arcade. We're halfway through the game, Sans the man, Undertale himself comes out and straight flips your dish. Are you sure you want to make it like that at the moment?
Why?
I don't know. You can improve it at home and then publish the right one.
Can just quickly make something like this again. Can even use the old icons.
Wait, but click this first.
And then we need one for this one.
Cube dating simulator.
What? A cube dating simulator? That would actually be fun and easy to do. Is it auto enabled? I don't know.
Cube Dakimakura when? Looks as cheap as ever. Cubes can't have curves, but can cubes be thick?
Kind of want the arcade just to have random games to make that have nothing to do with just there for the lols. Yeah, that's what it's supposed to be, more or less. Just random games.
We're just going to add Perfect Tower 1. into the
A
arcade.
random game that has nothing to do with Perfect Tower 2. Perfect Tower 1. Or we could do like a history summary of Perfect Tower 1.
History quiz.
A visual novel.
Visual novel.
Okay, I think that should work. Okay, so we can push something without a broken arcade.
Yep, point and click adventure. The Perfect Tower the adventure. The board game.
Okay. A game where you run from Cubos.
It's Flappy Bird style.
But just the Cubos boss fight from Perfect Tower 1.
But improved.
It now shoots rainbows.
Hmm.
Okay. I feel like that's good to go. A chance that it redirects you to Cylindro. Did you notice that you now can unlock the construction firm here? That it actually has a little lock symbol if we go into another save. Just Neon Cat for 10 hours.
Like the game at the Stanley Parable with the baby running into the fire. Which you have to prevent by clicking the button for, I think, 4 hours or something like that.
So now you see it's locked. You need to unlock it via the headquarters. That is because we want to have a certain progression in the game and certain limits where we need to do something else. And that was one step of getting there. One change we made. Okay. But I think it's good to go.
I think, yeah.
The new trading post. Let's check the factory again, that you didn't push the thing. Yeah.
Can't wait for the arcade game where you watch paint dry.
It should really just be a bunch of random games so that you have like a collection of 50 completely random games. Okay, well, let's
just simply add the Steam Workshop. Not the Steam Workshop, but just Steam. So if you go to the starting page of the arcade here, just see the starting page of Steam.
where you pretend to become a Bitcoin miner. I don't know why you all want us so badly to implement a Bitcoin miner.
Passive support. We should add it to the options menu.
I think we will at some point. People keep asking for it. Why is this broken?
We should turn VSync into a drop-down. Either VSync or Bitcoin to use the additional resources.
Okay, let's check this. Seems good.
What's that?
It's my tower.
Oh.
Oh, I should save this actually. Well, optional Bitcoin miner. Okay.
Imagine when people upload trash Flash games from 2002 into the arcade. Like, what was the game called where you can shoot bubbles? Bubble Trouble? Do you remember that one?
Not from the name.
I remember it from back when I was in how do you call the first school in English? Elementary school?
Or elementary?
Primary school, elementary school. We had a PC class which we could use during breaks, and since that game had a multiplayer, people were always playing that.
Jinx.
Change arcade UA back.
Okay.
Back a launch.
We dodge spikes. Just another Flappy Bird.
We should just add all the Windows 95 games, like Solitaire and Spider Solitaire and FreeCell.
And Minesweeper. Don't forget Minesweeper.
Solitaire, but with cube cards.
Interactive Buddy 2 exists.
Flappy Cube.
Okay.
We could add that mobile game we made a few years ago, Gravibox.
Oh, they would fit the style and the theme of the game.
Yep.
I see why you suggested it.
Perfect how to pinball. Patreon dating minigame. Date the Patreon.
Date a Patreon. And then it's yourself because you donated.
Just going to add some horror game to the game.
Imagine the
What color would you be? Green. I'm a turtle.
Okay. Updating the new version in the background, or building it first.
You see yourself as an archetype?
I would be an assassin.
Sagittarius. We just added a herald feature like in Cookie Clicker, where you boost all the other players. Did you see that feature?
Sorry, I didn't listen.
The herald feature from Cookie Clicker.
Isn't that where how many people donated the thing? Isn't that this
a
one?
Specific package. I think $10 or $30 per month. That boosts every other player by 1%. If they have a specific upgrade in game.
Yeah. I mean, that would be easy to add, I guess. What else did we change in this version? There were a few more things behind the scenes.
What was that? Welcome to the chat room. Not sure, just check the history.
Okay, where removing your mouse makes you lose.
Or the chicken game. If you look at the chicken, you lose. Oh, you lost. No, if you look away from the chicken or something.
No, if you... Yeah, it was something...
Look at the chicken or
look
look
at
away
the
from?
chicken. I think it was look at the chicken.
Mm.
Yeah, it's building.
Oh. A real slot machine that uses real money.
You have to enter your credit details first.
Yeah. Every spin drains money.
Mm.
Still building.
Should close a few things in the background.
Yeah, building always takes a while.
Should close Unity in the background. A arcade game where you rob a bank in real life.
It's just like the meme. Banks hate him. What was that? With this, see how this man makes $35,000 in one afternoon with this little trick. Banks hate him. The one with the bank robber there. The meme.
An arcade game where you have to come up with clickbait titles.
An arcade game where you have to make arcade games for Perfect Tower 2.
Stripping assemblies, we're almost there.
Or you could simply add Perfect Tower 2 as an arcade game to Perfect Tower 2.
That would actually be easy. Because we could just load it as a new save game.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So you press play and then it simply starts the game all over. And if you exit, you're back in your regular game.
But what if you build an arcade inside the arcade game?
That's still possible. That's not a save game inside the save game. Inside the save game. Did you watch the last stream regarding the AI? Because actually the AI is going to be one large update in the closed beta.
I mean, we originally said we're going to push a few things so people can test it in the alpha, and the full thing is going to be available in beta. So I don't know how far you are with the UI. Any
Still
changes
takes
to
saving is still a problem
okay?
because the script's getting pretty big.
Yeah, without a proper saving, we can't push it. It doesn't make sense. Actually, we didn't check. Is it still disabled?
Yeah, I
Okay.
think so. You could go to the dashboard. Unity dashboard to check the changelog.
Sorry?
You could go to the Unity dashboard.
No, I can do anything in Unity right now.
No, yeah, I mean outside of Unity in the browser.
Nah, then I would have to log in and stuff. What if some modern arcade game that is literally just provided to with its own cloud save?
Well,
Wouldn't that be very inefficient? And a lot of effort. Think about it, like the resources it would... Okay, well, you can't use modern stuff in browser, so it doesn't actually matter. But imagine like having Perfect Tower 2 running 2 times in the browser.
I think we should really create that meta incremental game page where you can play 4 incremental games at once.
We have the AI playing them for you. Yep, it's still compiling. Still compiling.
Compile WebAssembly module. Well, the stream's probably going to lag, because this usually takes up all cores.
Nah. Not for me. My PC is strong enough.
But it doesn't depend on the strength of the PC, because it
Yeah,
just uses all available resources.
yeah, from one
Unless
core.
you disable it.
It can't use all cores.
It's supposed to use all cores.
Like Unity can't. Unity can only use one core
Why?
because it's limited.
Why should it be limited?
Because it's limited by Windows. It can't use all cores.
Well, that's still possible in Windows 7.
But I have to think that one of the devs is...
Fina?
I don't get Fina, but the rest I get. Failed ideas compilation mod. I bet you, once it's done compiling and we upload it, and then we stop the stream and we go home. Once we get home, everybody's like, "Oh no, it's broken, it's OP, it's something's not working, something's too good." Body trading infinite resources for infinite resources.
Yep. Something like that is probably going to happen, like always.
I will break it if I must. I mean, you already have enough resources to break it, so. The challenge would be to make a new save game and then break it. And kill the cylinder another 1,000 times.
Well, now he has to kill him 10,000 times, because now he can skip the intro.
Didn't we last time say 5,000? Anyways. It's almost done rebuilding. I gave myself infinite gems.
Compressing build results. Done.
Yeah. Finally. Okay. Come on, Unity, open up. I mean, this is something we changed. So this we have to add to the changelog.
You mean 10 seconds right when the fight started, or 10 seconds when the whole game started?
Bless you.
Thanks.
New update is uploading.
I think the wiki section for the laboratory now has to be changed.
It's uploaded. The new version is up there. Yep, looks good. The wiki section for a laboratory.
Because I
Why?
think there was... Scroll down a bit. Don't think it's... There, this one.
Oh, the building tiers?
Yep.
Maybe we can do that later. Okay. Does the game work? Build for start.
And complete crash.
We need to go to training post.
It still has the old traits.
Yeah, gotta wait an hour. Oh wait, I don't have the skill. Yeah. Okay. The icons in the arcade look even worse than before. Okay, but everything's up there. So let's do a quick announcement on Discord as well. Announce that new version is live.
More training post bad.
Okay, announce it on Discord, you can play it. And tell us if anything's broken and how you feel the new trading post is. If it's much better, worse. Okay. And with that, I think it's time. It's time to say goodbye for today. Like we said, we're now going to do regular streams. So there will be a new stream next week. I don't know when yet or what time. We're still trying to test a few things out. I think today, like starting at 8 for us, I think was better for most people to get here. But you let us know what you think. What's a good time? If that was actually good or bad. And what? Okay. So, do you have anything else to say? Add to it?
Nope.
Well, with that, I would say have a good evening, have a good day, and
Good morning, good night.
whatever. And we'll see you soon and on Discord. Well, goodbye.
Bye.